Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I want to start by saying a big thank you to everybody who sent in their kind messages of condolences, since I mentioned on the community tab earlier this week that we had a bereavement in the family. That is why it has been a little bit quiet on the casting front. Essentially, we're going to be going off as a family down next week to the other side of the country for a few days, so it might be next week's cast might be the end of the week if I can get it out at all, but I'm definitely aiming to keep the schedule of a cast a week, hopefully to both here and at Patreon. But I'd like to say thank you again for all of the warm words of support. We are all doing fine. Now, today's game on the day that the G7 kicks off. That's right, just to keep things symbolic, we're moving from one group of people, or looking at one group of people who've no idea what's best for their nations, to another who have no idea what's best for their nations. That's right, it's Average Joe's Day today here at Guilecast, where we showcase those masters of mediocrity as they pilot their shiny metal monsters of mayhem into certain doom. And it's going down on a generated map. How very exciting. Custom 5v5. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching. Ka-ching. No instant loading for you. You must have done something really bad in a previous life. We'll call this Team 1 up here at the top, and this Team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for Team 1. We'll start at the top right. We've got Omni Haven in Regal Purple, and he's going UEF. Team member number 2 to his left for Team 1. We have Sapir, and he's going Seraphim in Combat Green. Next up, sticking with the back row over here in Elephantine Grey, it's an Aeon, it's Martyr, and he is opening first land. Next to him, down here, Blue Docking 202, and he is going Seraphim in Electric Blue, opening first land. And last but not least, for Team 1, finally, a Cybran, and it's that naughty, naughty newsreader, Ron Burgundy. There he is, and he is going a Baby Blue there, opening first land. So we've got a Cybran, a UEF, and an Aeon, and then 2 Seraphim. All of the races represented there for Team 1. Let's check out Team 2 down here, already on the move. I'm assuming the 3 is meant to be an E. We'll call him Steck. There he is. He's going Seraphim in Mellow Yellow, opening first land. Team member number 2 to his right over here in Pontiff White, already on the move. It's none other than my good friend GFY's Depony, and he is moving up towards the west there with his comm, going UEF, opening first land. Next up, a stone's throw away from him there, it's the winner of this week's Offensive Name Award, Mr. Packer, as we'll be referring to him today, in Fabulous Vivacious Violet, and he is opening first land. Next up down here in Hallyborange Orange, it's Grunkalunka. There he is, Grunkalunk. That's interesting and fun to say. So there he is. He's going Cybran, opening first land and second air. And last but not least, for Team 2, moving up forwards, it's Terrari. Have I got that right? Looks like Terrari. Eyes not doing as well as they used to. I think that's right. And there he is. He's going Seraphim in Ferrari Red, and he opened first land. So Team 2, we've got 2 UEF, a Cybran, and 2 Seraphim, looks like. Game quality at 93%. That's what we consider to be a balanced game. And you can see the lowest rated player there is Steck at 900. That's Yellow Man down here for Team 2. Highest rated player, we do have a pro. It's Martyr, I think, from Team 1. It's a 1600. That's the more condensed grouping, and a slightly more stretched grouping there for Team 2, with, of course, that low-rated player down at the 1900, and a few higher-rated players stretching from sort of 1500 there to 1200. First few shots fired over here in the west as some labs bump into each other. We've got a couple of hunters up there over to the left, and what was, I think, what was that exactly? I actually get a chance to see it. The wrecks have already been scooped up or obliterated, but it was a lab nonetheless. It might have been a mech marine of some description over there. Quick chat about what's going on the map. We've got this big sort of impassable section in the middle with some assorted dotted rocks. I mean, I'm assuming that's impassable. You might be able to scoot through there, actually, with a few smaller units and what have you. But yeah, it's not... I imagine it's an area of the map where much action is going to go down. You've got a few rocks kicking about. You do have lots of mass here on the side approaches, which is where most of the action, you would imagine, is going to take place in today's game. And what have we got here? Transport out to the bottom left-hand corner for Grunker. Do I just call him Grunker, or do I say the whole thing every single time? Grunker Lunker. I don't know. But there he is. He's heading up the western side of the map. And looking perhaps to get in a cheeky drop up into the top left corner. He looks like he's laden with engineers. He might be thinking about some kind of hidden proxy base to cause problems later on. Interesting decision if he tries to, or if he manages to pull that off. We do have a couple of interceptors over here for Marta, which is perfectly primed to shoot that down if the Team 1 can get a read on it before it's too late. Really is going all the way to the top. Is he going to pull in around the back over here? His best bet would probably be to try and take this. This corner has its sort of natural fortification here from this long pond over here, preventing anything except amphibious units, of course, crossing it. You do have some routes in around the side here and in through. I guess you can make it through there. It does look like that's a passable bit of terrain. In fact, we've got an engineer scooting that way as we speak, but all of those NGs dropped off, and it is indeed a land factory up in the top left-hand corner. Look at that one section of water. I'm not sure what that's about. Excuse me. I am battling my standard chesty issues, of course, so if I'm coughing and spluttering all the way through it, I know you'll forgive me. You've stuck with me this long, and it's all part and parcel of the fun. My respiratory issues. T2 upgrade on the way there for Haven. Got any upgrades over here for Terrari? Not yet. Seems to be one of the earlier upgrades. And we've got action kicking off in the middle there between Packer and Blue Docking. And Deponi in the area as well. So a potential 2v1 situation here. Deponi engages. Packer moves up on the mechs. And in comes their combined spam to add a little extra pressure to Blue Docking, who's taking quite a lot of fire here at the outside edge of 6 minutes. Blue Docking below 8,000 hit points now, still on the run. Deponi keeping up the pressure and matching him step for step. 6,500 hit points and falling. There's plenty of spam moving in there from Team 1 to try and defend. Deponi now moving laterally. Looks like he might be breaking off pursuit from Blue Docking's comm and switching instead to assisting Packer with some of the inbound Mantis spam there from Ron Burgundy. Blue Docking looks like he's going to make it to safety, at least for the time being, with about 4,600 hit points to spare there or thereabouts. Meanwhile, over here in the east, Omni Haven is locked in a battle with some spam there from Terrari. He's absorbed a lot of damage so far. He's down to about 7,500 HP. Needs to keep moving to avoid all of that inbound Zui artillery fire, of which there is quite a large amount of it. Back in over here in the west, and Blue Docking is in trouble. This could be our first ejection just past 7 minutes here. He's down to 1,000 hit points now, sub 1,000. Deponi curiously stopping to scoop mass and not pursuing. That's an easy kill in my mind if both him and Packer had committed, but Blue Docking gets a lucky escape there. 600 hit points and climbing. Engineers back here trying to throw down some emplacements to pause this attack. Engineer does get vaporized for his trouble, and Packer continuing to move forward. I think that's a missed opportunity there for Team 2. They could have taken Docking out of the game, no question, with just a little bit more commitment. We're now up to 5 factories up here in the top corner there for Grunker. And it doesn't look like any of it's been scouted yet. Potential vulnerable T2 mechs up in the top corner and 4 T1s over here. But Grunker not letting the cat out of the bag just yet. Happy to remain in the shadows until he's got a larger force assembled. Ron Burgundy is pulling his comm closer towards the center now, having been loitering right on the western fringe. But that is allowing Deponi to push up here with a smaller force. And Steck coming in right around the edge as well. We do have Marta's comm over here. He's on an upgrade though, routed to the spot. Not enough T1 span to bother him though, I shouldn't think. I think he'll be able to sit back and defend without cancelling that upgrade. Grunker on the move. Has let the cat out of the bag and attacked with some of the spam that he had built up in that top corner. Lots of artillery pieces battering down that resourcing point. Down goes a factory. And Marta did complete that upgrade. It's one of the gun upgrades and he's now falling back. Will he be in a position to take on Grunker's forces? That's the question. Grunker also pushing through that little gap we talked about earlier and now in towards the main base of Marta. Engineers still working on structures in the main base. There is an Oblivion turret now up and running. Mass extractors under attack. And this is going rather well, I think, for Team 2. Stream of units have cleared out that western approach. That top left corner forward base has paid off serious dividends, and it now has Marta backed up into his main base. He's renamed the Oblivion turret I Am Expensive. Certainly would be for this stage in the game when you've had all of your forward resourcing options taken out. He is now getting a little bit of support there from Blue docking on the ground. That should be enough to deal with this. Ron Burgundy has problems of his own in his main base now as Steck turns up and starts laying waste to the T1 P-Gens in there and the engineers that are rushing in to build T1 point defense. Gunships up here for Marta. Is it Marta or Matry? I think it's Matry. We should be calling him that, really. But they have been real stalwarts at defending this base. And now Matry moving out with his commander to that top left corner, trying to eliminate this threat once and for all. Let's check in on the bottom right, because things have been pretty quiet over here in terms of our coverage. Omnihaven pushing out down that eastern approach. Terrari over here working on some PD, Tech 2. Hoping to shut down this avenue of attack in here. Little run by from both Omni and Sapir. Down in the bottom right corner, Grunkalunka now entangled with some T1 spam at the bottom right corner of the map. Needs to keep his comm moving. He's taking a lot of fire here. But bit by bit, picking his way through those Thams and those Zuis. And now getting a couple of units of T2 support there from Deponi. 2 pillars moving in. Grunkalunka on 4,000 HP. Blue docking looking healthier than he did last time we saw him. He's up to about 50% of his HP, 6,400 hit points. Packer advancing forward. Lot of spam in tow. Now a new attack over in the east against that forward position we saw Terrari working on. 1 T1 point defense, 2 T2s, although they're starting to crumble. Oh, look out! Gunship attack. Straight in there from Matry. We saw him using those defensively a moment ago. Very little in the way of flak. You can see Terrari moving his way up here. There are a couple of T1 anti-air emplacements, but I'm not sure he's going to get there. That huge alpha strike that those Aeon gunships have Bosh! Terrari is the first to bow out. Is full share on, I wonder? Yes, it is. So somewhere the poor fairy has succumbed to terminal hangnails. I'm dreadful for it. Steck, Packer and Deponi holding the line up here. It's 3v2. Another gunship turns up but gets insta'd by the two skyboxers from Deponi, which are covering this area. Doesn't look like Matri's success is going to be replicated in this corner of the map. They've got some defense, but Deponi now in control of a very large area as he takes on Terrari's old base over in the east. Omnihaven at his forward base. What's he got in the way of defenses? A decent amount of spam in the area, not a huge amount in the way of static defenses though, or indeed any. So needs to be careful here as Grunker expands out with a large amount of donated units. So Deponi has donated all of the infrastructure and the weaponry pretty much over here to Grunker. That makes sense, so he's not fighting on two fronts. Deponi now taking fire from Blue Docking, who's getting some payback here with his upgraded gun. Deponi on the move to safer territory. He has been advancing over in the west against Matri. Matri with a double gun, and now engineers over here with defenses going up. Should be able to brush aside those pillars without any real difficulty. Blue Docking up to 64 kills now with that commander. Checking in on the economy side of things, Team 2 up about 5k, just over, in total mass accrued. And that's more of a legit reading, of course, because this is full share, so we haven't had bases reabsorbed, but that's a mercy attack, and that kills off Packer. Matri scores a second kill from the air. He's really paying for himself. First of all, held off the attack in the top left-hand corner, and now has been responsible for 2 exits on Team 2. And this time it looks like... yeah, it looks like it might have gone to Deponi again. That or Steck, potentially. Deponi and Steck advancing on the ground. Lots and lots of Ilshivers, pillars. Blue Docking looking like he's in a pretty pickle, but it's actually Ron Burgundy who goes down first. Can they get a second scalp to level it? Certainly they need it. Blue Docking down to 2,000 hit points, but gets a crucial rank in veterancy. Back up to well over 5,000. They'll be happy to have picked off one player at least. And Matri now coming in from the west with that double upgraded comm, Aeon Sniper comm. Corsair attack over the top from Grunker takes Blue Docking back into the red. 3,800 hit points there. We do have flak. Will they get a second pass? They're badly damaged. We are getting a second offload, but that's not going to be enough. They need at least one more. One of them has been shot down. The other two are very badly damaged. In fact, there's just 20 odd hit points remaining on one of them, although it's regenning nicely now. Blue Docking, 2,500 hit points, pulling right turn after right turn, trying to avoid that incoming fire. Check out the drops going down as well into the backfield from Deponi. Some of them are successful, some of them though locked onto by those defending swift wins from Matry. That's good aerial defense from Team 1's air player, who so far has been carrying this pretty hard. Not surprising as the 1600 rated player. Blue docking back up into the yellow thanks to that regen. Meanwhile, what's been going down here? Once again, we've been neglecting it. Grunker Lunker has seen better days. Pretty beaten up. And facing another T1 onslaught from Sapir. Looks like he's going to be able to contend with that. There's a nasty group of forces there belonging to Omni Haven, but Deponi is moving in to assist. Once again, another Corsair over the top. Blue docking down to the low hundreds there, about 200 or 300 hit points. If he'd have had 2 or 3 more aircraft, he could have scored the kill, but just not enough. We do have more trickling in. Will this do it? He's on about 950. Oh, that gets shot down before it can unload. So does the next one. Defending swift wins from Matry, doing everything they can to keep their teammate alive. Steck over here with gun upgrade, facing off against Matry with that double gun upgrade. Shivers carving their way through Lobos belonging to Deponi there. Not really much of an opposition with that tech mismatch. Steady progress though over here in the east. Sapir has moved forward with his comm, setting up shop with a T2 factory straight away, right off the bat. That's a lot of conquered territory. This is going to be very hard for Team 2 to deal with. They need some more wins over on this side of the map. But so far, Team 1 defending nicely. Do not push, Orange, says Sapir. He's sending attack missile, trying to get him not to move, but it's going to miss because he's already moving without provocation. That attack missile sails overhead, collides with the ground where it previously stood. Matry still fiercely defending over in the west. 45 kills. Nano repair just about to complete for blue docking, and then regen aura on top of it. So he is going to be a very nasty asset in the field before too long. That first level of nano repair gets him up to 94 hit points a second regen. Back over in the east, a little bit of counter pressure from Deponi, who's pushing up against Sapir's comm. We do have a few Corsairs once again over the top from Grunker, targeting that green Seraphim commander. Deponi trying to swarm around him. There are some defending Ilshivers, and of course this large blob of forces to the southeast here belonging to Omni. But we've missed a kill. Steck dying out to Matry up in the top left. No. Oh my goodness. The other way round. The 1600 rated player Matry getting picked off by the 900 rated player Steck, but it might not be all fun and games as another wave of Mercy comes in. Mercy strikes, takes him down to 1300 hit points. He needs to get that comm out of dodge, and like right now, before Omni sends in another batch, just one or two more would have done it. Wow. So MVP so far in this game for Team 1. Matry taken out by surprise up in the top left corner. Apologies for missing that. Answers in the comment section below, guys, if you caught that on the mini-map. Always free, of course, to check these replays out by yourself. The replay IDs are always linked in the video descriptions. While you're down there, shove a like on the video, for goodness sake. What do you mean you haven't done it already? Pretty sure we've stated that that's highly illegal. Grunker in trouble though as the Ilshivers march forward from Sapir. He's not making it out. Boom! So just as it looked like they were getting somewhere with the demise of Team 1's MVP, Grunker Lunker, their top-rated player, goes down, and it's just down to Steck and Depony now to try and pull this one out of the bag. Not looking great right now for Team 2, although that might be a bit of an open door down here. Depony's got a lot of T2. Actually, in terms of territory, if you look at this, that does favour Team 2 quite a lot. They're just down on players. How are they doing eco-wise? Team 2, well, that speaks for itself. 373 versus about a 250 by the looks of things. And now Omni is in trouble as the pillars from Depony's army just stroll right on in. He sits under some shield coverage for a moment, but that doesn't last very long. And there's more forces moving in down here from the southwest. Omni Haven down to around 50% of his HP. That's about 9,500 hit points. So there's still a lot of work for Depony to do here, but he should feel emboldened by the way things have recently gone. Surprised he's not pulling these in for the kill. He's definitely got a chance here. Also on the move is Steck's forces up against Blue Docking and his main base. Blue Docking defending valiantly with his commander. Omni Haven down to 5,400 hit points. He manages just barely to shoo that one away. Blue Docking now with 244 hit point a second regen on that bad boy commander. That's a thing of beauty right there. Standing tall, blapping away a lot of that spam. He's lost that forward base though. That constant pressure from Steck has just bulldozed its way through that position. Believe it was wrong, Burgundies. I think so. Answers in the comment section if I've got that one right or wrong. Omni Haven with a couple of triads around his comm now, and he started work on a Ravager. Doesn't look like he's committing right now to completing it. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. But this has been so furious, this game. So much continued pressure. We're at 26, almost 27 minutes, and so far we haven't had a snifter of an experimental anywhere. It's just been constant, relentless pressure right from the outset. This is going to be a very nasty nut for Team 2 to have to crack. Blue Docking The upgraded gun, 51,000 hit points on the comm, 250 hit points a second regen. And Steck with similar upgrades, by the looks of things. He hasn't got the upgraded nano. Now, Ambassador's strap bomber out from Depony, heading right into the backfield and targeting vulnerable T2 mexes. Picks off one. How far can he go with this bombing run? It looks like another one might have been shot down there. Picks another one that is shielded, but there are defending ASFs, so I don't think he's going to get another attack off with that particular unit. Percy's over here in the east, doubling up on their targets for unnecessary overkill. This has to be a cause for concern for Team 2. Oh, a cheeky little TAC missile battery right in the center of the map from Depony. TAC pings going down on it though, so it's been spotted by the looks of things. And just look at the difference in overall mass totals. 450 versus 390. That is a massive difference. Percival's over here, and Blue Docking needs to be a little bit careful. That could really ruin your day, even if you do have a chunky commander. Hopefully he has overcharges stacked up and ready to go with lots of power storage and what have you. He does have Tech 3 backup here with Harbingers and a lot of Ilshivers in the mix as well. Still focusing on the spam. Of course, the comm with that long range and rate of fire. Oh, I don't like the look of this though. If he continues moving forward, there's another batch of Percy's right here. I think he's thought wiser of it. Sensible decision as he moves back. Things going nicely for Team 1 over in the east, as well as Omni pushes out down that right-hand side. A vulnerable base for Steck over here, formerly belonging, I think, to Grunker. Now this is interesting. Docking having to decide which force he stops. The moment he's pushing westwards to contend with Steck's forces, but that's a large Percy group that's moving up from Depony, and he really does need to be careful. I wouldn't be surprised if that force up against that comm could pop it quite easily. That's a lot of devastating firepower here from those Percivals, a lot of Alpha Strike. A few of them locking onto the comm. And now a counter push from the other side as well from Steck, and he's got himself well and truly surrounded. And even from the skies as a wave of Corsairs come in. Blue Docking overextending, always dangerous at half an hour into a game with your commander, Bosh. And that might just be the death nail in the coffin. Death knell? Death nail? What's that expression? Answers in the comment section below. Absolutely no idea where I stand on that, but now Depony's in trouble as Omni has pushed his way all the way towards his main base. 8,700 hit points on the comm as he desperately tries to find himself some shield coverage to fall into. He does get a rank in veterancy at a crucial time, which gives him a big old chunk of hit points back. There are 5 Percys in this group by the looks of things, but another group of Percys coming in behind them from Omni. Depony back into the yellow. He's got some defensive coverage over here. If you check the mini-map as well, he is pushing deeper into Omni's base. I think Deponi's comm is safe for the time being. There are 2 more Percys inbound. He's trying to defend as best he can with T1 bombers, and he's brought back a contingent of his own Percivals to help fend off this attack. And then he picks up his comm by transport and evacs him to safety. New group coming in around the mountains in the center. It's all T1 Zui spam, but very little in the way of defensive emplacements to defend this core production sector over here from that attack. Deponi marched his way all the way to some very expensive buildings. Bags himself a couple of T3 reactors there. Can he get a T2 or even a few of them? Ouch. That's a lot of damage. A lot of consistent damage from both sides. As these guys just continue to hurl everything they have at each other. It is now a 2v2. Team 1 have opened up this side of the map dramatically. But Team 2 still with a solid mass production advantage as we go into what feels like it could be the final stages of this game. Certainly a late game phase, no question there. Things tail off. A bunch of attack missile launchers in the main base there for Steck. I'm curious how far they can actually reach. Not particularly far at all. Wondering when he built those. But I think it's fair to say he's held his own pretty well for a 900 Steck. Still in there. Competing with the bigger boys. He's got himself 114 kills on that Seraphim Commander. 4 ranks in veterancy. And finally, we have an experimental. And the first one it is from our 900 rated player, Steck. Now bulldozing his way through this light touch infrastructure that's been spanned up by Sapir. Lots of T1 land factories and the like. He's moving in with spam, with some Percys. Still with some 53,000 hit points. Probably doesn't want to waste his time hanging too many left turns. He looks like he's intimidated by all of this spam, though. This is probably not a bad decision. Does have some support down here from his teammate Deponi. Can draw this spam in. Might be able to have a second solid push with that assault bot. As he looks to push once again up on the western side of the map as well. Deponi is just about all out Percival production right now, sending those titans of UEF gold into the fray. That assault bot gets out of trouble at about half health. A mere 20 hit points a second. Regen hasn't achieved any ranks in veterancy yet. Shivers over in the west, just managing to hold the line against Omni, and it is an interesting state of affairs. Is there anything experimental or nuclear being built at the back of these bases? It really doesn't look like it. It is just all about the ground spam. These last 4 players desperately work on a scheme to try and finish this one. A T2 upgrade on the way for Deponi's comm down here. It is a shame for Steck. He didn't manage to get a ranking vet there. But he's getting 60 hit points a second back thanks to standing next to that commander, which has got that regen field upgrade. So that is a massive improvement on what it was doing prior to that. Get that assault bot repped up and send it back into battle as Omni pushes once again out into the west. Very much a case of Aeon and Seraphim versus Seraphim over on this side of things. "38 minutes gone, and it feels like Team 1 may be starting to catch up on the eco side of things. But just a look at the difference in total mass accrued. There's now over 100k difference between the two teams. Actually, Team 1 are the ones who are slowly pushing out. Sapir has done remarkably well on this side of things since Omni has had to relocate to cover this edge. Very much a case of upward pressure from Team 2 in the west and downward pressure from Team 1 in the east. Lovely bombing run over the top from Deponi, which almost completely obliterates a run-by attempt skirting its way down the western approaches from Omni. ASFs from Omni, though, quick to intercept as fast as they can. They miss some of the bombers as they off-map on their turn. They do manage to shoot down their escort ASFs. And will Deponi bring them to bear on some of this spam, which is in relatively safe territory now to engage. It's certainly looking ominous. Sapir advancing. A lot of that is T1 spam, but there's also a lot of Percivals in the mix there. Those brutal T3 assault bots. Deponi runs a strap bomber pass over the top. And they will be able to just keep harassing. No air defense for these guys. Clumped up Percys make a nice target. In comes the ASFs finally. Deponi needs to pull away with his bombers. Is he going to be able to save them? What in the way of anti-air do Team 2 have over here? Well, the answer is sweet Forged Alliance. I know at least a portion of you all would have seen what I did there. Assault bot pushing his way up the western approaches. He repped up a fair amount, but he's still got a big old gaping hole in his head. About 1/3 of his HP not yet repaired. How much damage can he inflict on what is a very large amount of Harbingers? Deponi in over the top, goes straight after a huge clump of engineers that are trying to work on their own experimental. There's Colossus here that's about to go over to 3/4 done. And then all of the engineers died. 3 remain. Deponi will lose those strap bombers, but that has been remarkably effective at slowing down production. And now is receiving more damage of its own. That's how far the actual production is off completing. That little bit there. More T3 engineers moving in all the time. If Deponi could scrape together one more strap bomber to take those out, this attack might have a chance of dealing a killing blow. Harbingers and Ilshivers moving forward en masse. Oh, but check this out. Percival's get into the main base, and they will stop production of that Colossus. Are there any commanders nearby? There's one. Omni Haven over here, the other side of Sapier's main base. GG's thrown out from Omni Haven. Deponi's been expanding over in the east as well while all of this has been going on. That experimental's still very, very healthy. How crucial was the deny on that Colossus, I wonder? It certainly seems like it might have been very crucial. And there's the Control K from Omni, who bows out of the game. He knows it's all done. And I imagine Sapier probably won't be far behind him. Busy getting the regen aura on his own commander. But surely at this point it's moot. There's nothing to defend against this assault bot and all of these Percys. All of that base belong to us, says Team 2. Percy's moving up in the east as well. Where is that commander? Still over there, rooted to the spot on an upgrade. That's a very healthy looking Ethota that's marching his way. Fully ranked in vet. Shield collapses. Factories that stand in the way get leveled. Shield pops up for a moment and blocks some of the damage. But there's no way he's escaping that. And Kaflooey. 43 minutes, almost 44 on the nose. Team 2 pull out the victory. Very nicely played. They were ahead most of the game, although it seemed like they were losing men quicker. Because full share was on, of course, they still kept the infrastructure. And on terms of infrastructure and territory and what have you, they were always ahead, seemingly. So those assassinations never really made the impact that they needed to as a result. Commiserations, Team 1. Well played, Team 2. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, if you've seen everything but want to see more and you don't currently subscribe to the Patreon, it is a mere $1 a month. It's something like 25 or 26 casts on there already. I try to get a new one up every week, so please check that out. Every dollar helps me, and by extension, the channel and the community. Very grateful to all of you who've subscribed so far, and all of you who will in the future. There'll be some upcoming content as well on YouTube soon. I've got a little bit of an interview with some FAF members who are building their very own game, and it doesn't look terrible. Like, it looks exciting, seriously exciting. Which is not something I can always say for all of the projects that people hit me up for. But anyway, much more of that to come, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.